Good afternoon, everyone. It's Master Jose Torres with the Martial Arts Experience. Today is our finale as we come into the holiday season. I know everybody's getting ready for Christmas, so I had to give a special episode as the final for this one. And I don't want to waste too much time. But again, we have a very, very special guest today. Very good martial artist, amazing human being, and just a good friend. He's done so much for me and for so many other people. So I want to bring him on now in a couple seconds. Our special guest is William Christopher Ford. How are you, sir?
Hey, you are looking very handsome with your full beard and nice tan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And I'm very light now because I haven't been, tanning in the New Jersey snow and weather. It's snowing.
Well, you're browner than me, man. You're much more handsome than me. I got to work on my tan because I'm looking kind of vampire-ish lately. So.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So William, I mean, listen, we had you on the show before. I think this is the third time, and the first time, we talked about 52 Masters and all those things. And then the next one, you were on the cover of our magazine. And this one's a little bit different. Today's a little bit different, a little bit special. But your character from Karate Kid is now in the forefront and was featured back in Cobra Kai. So how does that feel, William, to be part of that, speed train, that freight train that's running, known as Cobra Kai on Netflix?
It's surreal still and very, very cool. And I still can't believe it. It was just a really neat surprise when I got the message from Josh Heald one morning, and the next thing I know, I'm in Atlanta rehearsing a fight scene that the next day I get to do with Ralph Macchio himself. So very, very cool stuff. Oh, there he is. There's the man.
Ralph. There's the picture. There's the picture.
Yes.
And you spoke on our show the last time that Ralph was instrumental in giving you a cue in Karate Kid 3, right? There was like he kind of helped you with a line or something, right? I remember you spoke about that.
Well, I was hired as an actor who can do stunts, and I got into the Screen Actors Guild as a result of me being brought onto that show, and I got my SAG card, regardless of the line, but I didn't have any lines really. It was pretty much an unspoken part, and sort of letting my actions speak louder than words. And while we're doing the scene, as I'm bullying Ralph, he says to the director, John Avildsen, "Hey, John, can you give this guy a line? Because I need something to work off." And then John said, "Okay, you say you take off." And after Ralph pushes me and says, "Why don't you guys just take off?" And I say, "You take off." And then the fight starts and shortly ends with me being thrown into furniture. That's how that came about. And I always appreciated that Ralph didn't have to do that, but getting an extra line, elevates the role a little bit. And I always appreciated that, and I was able to express my gratitude online over the last couple of years when Ralph was present, as well as being able to thank him in person. And he told me he really appreciated my humility, and he loved my energy, and the fact that he said something interesting to me, because we did our first fight back. That was after, in the show, when Ralph kind of escapes from the dog cages, and we have that other fight at the Sekai Taikai at the end. And so I show up, and Ralph sees me and he goes, "Mr. de Guzman," and we start chatting a little bit. And I had written a thank you card to him, just expressing my gratitude for everything he's done for me. And he thanked me for the thank you card. And he says, "That's just great. We have to have more of that in the world." And I said, "Well, don't worry, sir. I'm going to make you look good." And he said the kindest thing. He said, "You always do."
Wow.
And that's quite a compliment. And what he means by that is, I always make him look good, but I always keep him safe. And I always, work with him to make, he's the star. You make the star look great. That's your job.
Right.
And he appreciates that.
Yeah.
So that was just made it warmed my heart because of him saying that. That just meant the world for me to
Yeah,
come from a man.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, William, we got a special, a little BTS Cobra Kai of a little rehearsal with you and him fighting.
Okay.
I'm going to pull that up real fast so our viewers can take a look at that. Oh, that's the picture there of you guys. And that was part of that big melee, right? That was that huge melee scene.
Yeah, that was interesting because the fight that I actually rehearsed with one of the stunt guys was longer, a little bit more complex. And day of, they want to cut it down a little bit. They felt it was a bit too much, so they simplified it to basically what you saw. And then when you saw it in the final episode, they cut it up to where it looks like he and I are fighting all this time while the brawl is going on, because they show a few moves and then they cut away.
Right.
And they cut back to us. We're still fighting, and then they cut away, and then he finally judo throws me onto the mat, and then we shot me kind of like on the ground, like trying to get my bearings so I wouldn't get trampled, and then kind of standing up and like glaring at him as he runs away. And then the way that it was shown, it looks like he and I have been fighting this entire time. So it's the magic of cinema.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that because it is like, wow, these dudes have been fighting all this time, man.
Right, right.
And it was really 5 or 6 moves. So
now, William, having the difference between Karate Kid 3 action versus this new Cobra Kai season 6 action, that's a huge difference. I mean, the level is totally, I would say night and day.
Absolutely. They're listen, the level of martial arts talent they brought in was incredible. As you know, you were there. You saw some of the martial artists who were performing there, and you know what the level is. We're talking about Justin, Juliana. I don't know if you met Victoria Stambaugh. She's amazing martial artist as well. She doubles for Peyton, I believe.
Right.
They run utility. The stunt people, they will double for whomever they need to double for.
Right. Right.
My double for episode 7 was Freddie Poole. And then I had another double for that day at the Sekai Taikai, just in case.
Yeah.
And him, it's Felix.
Felix Cortez, yeah.
And I did not realize that Felix actually was in episode 7 as one of the kidnappers. And I was thinking, wow, he looks much better without the Dennis Guzman wig.
Yeah. That's so funny.
He didn't get a chance to work that day, but he was there just in case. Right. But you saw the level of talent that has been brought in, and it's quite astonishing. I just highly respect all the performers, the martial artists, the stunt people, men and women both. It's I don't think it's ever been at this level.
Right. And now, William, I will tell you, and it's funny, just on the show now with us talking, we had a couple people chime in. So we have Vimal from Trinidad. He's from Trinidad. He's been an avid follower of the show since we went out there for the premiere. If you could just give a quick hello to Vimal. You could say quick hello to Vimal.
Good evening, Vimal, and thanks for watching. Appreciate you.
And this is a new guy or new person. I don't know who this is. This is a Gordy Scott from Australia logging in today.
Ah, very good, very good. Gordy, I used to live in Australia when I was a kid. I was about 2 years old. I lived in a town called Adelaide. So I do have a connection.
That's awesome. Now, I want to also bring up, William, this is a badass shot of you. My goodness. That is such a menacing, that's an unbelievable shot. That's an unbelievable shot.
Yeah, that's a money shot right there. I was really happy with that. Cinematographer Abe Martinez and his crew, they did an amazing job of shooting that particular episode in those particular scenes. Really kind of look like a different. It almost doesn't look like Karate Kid Cobra Kai. It looks like it's some sort of action film, right?
Right.
And Ralph Macchio looks like he is the next action star. The way that he ragdolls me all over the place. But the fight that we rehearsed and the fight that we shot, and I put this online, was actually longer, significantly longer than the fight that you actually got. And I do get in more hits, but at the end of the day, I still get in a few. I get my he kneed me in Karate Kid 3 and threw me into the furniture, and then I get him back a few times. I slam him into a wall. I take him down. I hit him a couple times. So I get a little bit more. I get a little bit more karma going on in this one, but I think Ralph looks great, and Ralph. He has a stunt double named Craig Henningsen. I've gotten his name wrong in the past, but I want to make sure I pronounce it right. Henningsen. He was Ralph's regular stunt double, and then my stunt double for the day was Freddie Poole, and Freddie did the table hit at the end, where and the way it works is that all the actors have a stunt double to help them. They do the fights with them, and they also do like the harder stunts. So they do that to make sure that, like, let's say if Ralph or another one of the actors actually gets injured, and then that could potentially shut down production.
Right.
And that's just not going to happen. It's where there's way too much money involved, right? So they shoot the fight with the actors, they shoot the fight with the stunt doubles, they shoot the fight with one of the actors, one of the stunt doubles, and then vice versa. So they have all kinds of coverage. And when they put this thing together, it really is collaborative, because it's all of us together telling this story, portraying these characters, adding the music and the editing. So it really is a collaborative effort. So the audience gets the maximum entertainment out of it.
Right. Now, what about this? Now, William, is this a permanent tattoo on your arm here? This Cobra Kai, is this a permanent tattoo now you have?
It's not a permanent one yet. I'm thinking about it, but I probably would want to add a little bit of yellow into it. I'm a big fan of black and yellow and black. Going back to the Game of Death with Bruce Lee and that tracksuit. I think those are the Cobra Kai colors also. And then, of course, you've got Charlie Brown with his yellow shirt and his black zigzag. And Pikachu, so those are all the things that. You got Kill Bill, right? With which was actually the homage to Bruce Lee. So, if I ever do that, I may have to put some yellow into it. But at this point in time, it's still not. It's still not permanent yet. It was a tattoo, like like the one that you wash off.
Yeah, absolutely. Real fast, we got Stinger Robinson tuning in from Trinidad again. So it's another Trini is tuning into the show. If you could do a quick hello for Stinger.
Hello, Stinger. Hope you're well. Thanks for watching.
He actually does training. He owns a school and trains different athletes and stuff. So really good guy. Yeah, really good guy.
Jose, I have a question for you. You have an interesting story to share about Cobra Kai, and it's much better coming from you, I think. So do you mind filling the audience in on this kind of cool story that involves both you and me?
Yeah. It's funny. I was just going to that. So for our viewers, some of you may or may not know, and I have posted that I was able to be involved with Cobra Kai this season. And I was one of the Sakai Tekai judges. So it was a background part, but, it was really, really cool to be on the set. And, I kept things quiet because I wasn't sure, if I would be seen or anything like that. So the story goes, and this directly affects William, is, I got casted. Originally, I had submitted to be one of the Spanish coaches, which would have been on Justin and Juliana's team. And they ended up casting me for one of the Sakai Tekai judges. So the day that I show up, I was there. I think I did the first day. And then the second day, you had texted me. And, me and William, for the viewers, we talk. We do talk, quite often, quite frequently on the phone. So you had texted me. I think it was that second day I was there. And you're like, hey, sir, how are you? And I texted you back. And I'm on the stage. I'm literally on the stage, while they're shooting the Sakai Tekai. And I text you back, sir, you're never going to believe this. And William's like, I think you said, yeah, maybe I will, or something like that. And, I'm like, hey, I'm on Cobra Kai. And you end up sending me a picture of me on the stage, and my face just lit up. I'm like, oh my God, that means he's here. William's here, you know? So I'm, texting you as I think it was like Peyton and somebody else was fighting in that specific match. And I'm like, where the hell's William? Where's William? And I'm like, I can't see you. And I'm looking around, and they have these like spotlights in our eyes, so we couldn't really see anything. And you're like, behind you. And I look behind me, and it's just a curtain, and then you text me again, and you're like, oh no, I'm up in the corner. So I was able to see him up in the corner, but we were still kind of filming, so I couldn't get up yet. And then once we finished, I was able to come over to William, and I got to tell you, William, and I know we talked about it, but to the viewers too, I got to tell you, that was probably the coolest moment of my life to, number one, be on Cobra Kai, and then at that time, finding out that William was they brought your character back, was awesome. I was so excited to be there and, to be able to witness that. So, that was a cool experience for me.
Yeah. When you texted me, we were texting back and forth. I was actually in the transportation vehicle going on the way to the studio. And then you said, yeah, I'm in Atlanta. And
that's what it was. Right.
I was like, and then I looked at the call sheet and I was like, okay, let me, I had my suspicions. And then when they actually brought me onto set and I was up there and I saw the Sekai Taikai set, and I looked down and there you are sitting as the center judge in your gray suit, I was like, oh, my boy's here. So I thought, well, this would be fun. And then when you said, yeah, you're not going to believe this. And I think I texted back, oh, I think I do. I think I will.
That's what it was. Yes, you're right. Yep.
That was kind of a really cool moment that we get to share with the audience right now. And of course, we really can't say much. They want you to keep it under wraps. So, I have to be very careful about things I say before, things are revealed. They really want to keep the surprises, and invariably and inevitably there are leaks, but they want to try to minimize those as much as possible. And, it did leak out that I was on set. It did leak out that I would be returning, but nobody quite knew how. And maybe it was just me being on set. And I was pleased at the surprise that it created when people finally watched it. And I got a lot of text and Instagram messages going, dude, you're on Cobra Kai. And that was really a lot of fun.
That was, like I said, I remember being on set with you, and, we had, you were nice and kind of visited me. We did lunch. I mean, here's a picture of us. This was, back at the compound there, right, where they fed everybody and did different things. And then this was a really cool special picture of us. This is at the Sekai Taikai on the stage. They could see Maria Alvarez and Zara's name in the back, and that was us on stage. So this is obviously a dream come true, for me, and obviously to be able to do this, with my good friend is unbelievable. It's just funny, how things happen, from when we first met each other, and spoke 4 years ago to where it is now. Is just, unbelievable. And then we did Killer X together. I mean, it's been a magical journey, So for those that haven't gotten it, make sure you get your copy of Killer X, and you get to see the lovable, destructive villain, William Christopher Ford, known as the Swordsman. Joe Gondo, he's part of it. Yeah, Joe Gondo.
Directed by the great Jim Towns.
Yes. But, it honestly, to the viewers, it was a great experience. And I did miss that detail when you said that. You're right. I was like, hey, I'm in Atlanta. I didn't tell you I was on Cobra Kai. And that was I think I still have that text message too. So yeah, that was fun. That was definitely fun.
Well, when we were on the Sekai Taikai set, also you introduced me to Linda Padron, who is just an amazingly, just a lovely woman who is so kind and so supportive, as well as a great martial artist. And also Michael Placencia, who does Cholo MMA, which I really enjoy a lot. That's really a fun show. So I follow him as well, and he's just a nice guy as well. But also other people that you were working with that I got a chance to meet that day, and they were all super. So it's good. That's what I enjoy about it. I like meeting the people. I like meeting the background artists too, because they play a very important part. If it wasn't for them, then it's just not the same, right? In fact, production can be shut down if you don't if you have an arena but nobody filling the arena.
Right.
They all have to be showing up with the right energy and everything, and everybody did an amazing job. And standing in the background is hard when you're doing it for hours and hours and hours, and just standing around is tough. So
Yeah.
much respect to the people that do that. I started off doing that decades ago, working as an extra,
Wow.
just here and there. I did a bit on a show called Night Court, and some other ones like that. I also met a cool brother named Walter Buck, who's an actor also and a boxer, and I hit it off pretty good with him.
Yeah.
So he was working a lot of days at the Sekai Takai as well. So I obviously can't name out everybody, but I just wanted to acknowledge everybody that I met and that supported the shooting that day. Couldn't do it without all of y'all. So thank you very much. Much gratitude.
Well, I will say too, William was sweet enough for the viewers. I mean, he introduced me. I got to meet Justin Ortiz and his wonderful wife, Juliana, and they're going to be coming on the show, hopefully in January. You and Zolo. I mean, you introduced me to Miguel Diaz. I mean, that was awesome too. That was because of William. So I had an opportunity to meet some cool people and reconnect with Marty Cove, who was on the cover of our magazine before. So, it was definitely a fun time. And Thomas Ian Griffin, I got a chance to talk and meet him. So, it was a really cool experience for me as well. But, everything I still think stems from, the relationship and the synergy that, we have together. And, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. I feel like, obviously this is momentum for you. I hope, more films see how, more production companies see, because you were electric. Dennis Guzman, I mean, that is not the same Dennis that was in Karate Kid 3. I don't know what the hell happened to you over those 40 years or 30 years, but that Dennis in Cobra Kai season 6 is not the same Dennis from Karate Kid 3. That guy
I got old and cranky is what happened, man. That's what I was supposed to be one of the bad boys in Karate Kid 3, and over the decades, I just became an old cantankerous man, but who can still happen to punch and kick. And so I just took all that cantankerousness and channeled it into my character. But the cool thing is that 35 years ago, I got to pick the name of Dennis for that character, because they said, "Hey, what do you guys want to be named?" And Jonathan Alvinson said, "I'll be Snake." And I was like on the spot. So I'm thinking, well, I am a menace, so I'll be Dennis, right? And then when they contacted me to reprise the role, I've trained as an actor, so I do background. I write my bio out and things like that. That way, even if I'm just standing around, I'm going to be reacting to things. I'm going to have an opinion and a perspective on things. You're not just standing around, you're feeling things, right? You have an attitude about certain things, and it may never be seen. The audience may never know it, but I know it as an actor, right? So I wrote this bio and I gave him the last name of De Guzman. And the producers liked that very much, that they said, we're going to use that. And it became canon. It became part of the Miyagi verse. So on my door, my dressing room, it was written in black ink, De Guzman, and I'm referred to in the script as Mr. De Guzman, and it's awesome. It's really cool. And some of the fans are like, "Oh my gosh, we found out his last name," and some of them are like, "Well, how come we never found out his name 35 years ago?" And I'm thinking, right, it's because I didn't come up with it 35 years ago. Right. But it's very gratifying being able to have that accepted as canon, and I love it, because of course he's going to have a last name. Right. It's not like Sting or Cher or somebody like that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, William, with the excitement, everybody's waiting for part 3 to drop in February. Everybody paid attention to the series. Dennis was a really good character, and that villain wasn't killed. So,
there might be a chance that maybe they see him, maybe they don't. You know, I think there's a lot of anticipation to see what happens with Mr. De Guzman.
Well, what I can say is that De Guzman is in part 3. And
Awesome.
I just can't say specifically what I do,
Right.
circumstances, but I am in part 3.
That's awesome.
And it's significant. It's something pretty big. So that's all I got to say about that.
Well, you guys heard it first here on Martial Arts Experience that De Guzman is in part 3 of season 6, and we're definitely excited. I mean, the way that storyline has gone, I mean, the writers are amazing. Honestly, they took something, you know, because I remember the first season, right? There was a lot of negativity online when it was on YouTube Red, and people didn't know what was going to happen. And the juggernaut that it's really become is wow, you know. And I don't know if all projects could bring, you know, that nostalgia forward 35 years. I don't know if everybody could do that, you know, if they don't write it well. Let's you know, think of all the reboots that have happened in all the projects, you know, from Power Rangers to this to that. You know, they'd always work out, but I mean, Cobra Kai, they've knocked it out of the park.
Well, as you know, the creators, you know, John Hurwitz and Josh Hield and Hayden Schlossberg, they're fans first and foremost. And then they became writers and producers and directors, and they've always respected the source material. They respect the characters, and they respect the fans. So being fans themselves. So I think the combination of that and having the fandom already in place, there was such great love for the original movie and the sequels and the characters, the whole Miyagi-verse, and it was in good hands.
Right.
And I admit, I was one of the skeptics when it first came out, and people were telling me, "Oh, have you seen Cobra Kai?" And I'm like, "What do I want to watch that for? You know, that's just another. Why can't they come up with something original?" And when I finally watched it, I had to change my mind because I was wrong. It was like, oh, they've really taken care to build this character. You know, particularly when you see how they've successfully humanized Johnny.
Right.
Willie
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's just really, in fact, almost all the characters, they've tried to create some sort of dimension. You know, nobody is one way all the time.
Right.
You look at the character of Terry Silver, and if you just look at Karate Kid 3, he's very over the top and kind of out of place. This is like, why would a billionaire be terrorizing a 17-year-old teenager and an old man?
Right.
And then you find out later on when he's reintroduced why he was doing some of the things, and it makes it much more palatable. And Cobra Kai makes Karate Kid 3 a better film.
It does. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Hey, we had a quick chime in from Mr. Ed Herman. You know Ed.
The man, the myth.
Yes.
Yeah, doing a lot of good work, Mr. Ed. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, Ed is a great guy. He actually shot BTS for us on Killer X. So you know, him and his wife has a podcast as well. So
right.
They're doing very, very well, very, very well. So William, how did it feel? You know, and I know you briefly hit on it, but how did it feel to you as not just an actor, but a part of this Karate Kid franchise when you got that call? You know, how did you feel? You know, because you obviously were watching, right? You were watching all the seasons and you're watching it happen. And I'm assuming, right, you thought like, man, I wonder if they're going to bring me back. Maybe they're not. Maybe they are. You know, how did you feel? Was it relief, excitement? You know, what did it mean to you?
I had already been convinced that I wasn't going to be in it. I really didn't expect it. And, you know, my thinking is, look, if you're going to be in a show, they're going to let you know before the show actually starts production. And once, you know, of course, there were the strikes. But once season 6 started production and I heard about it, then I'm thinking I'm pretty much done. That's it. And, you know, for the last several years, people have been asking me, well, you're going to be in the next season, right?
Right.
You're going to be in it, right? Please tell me you're going to be coming back. And I got nothing. And as I've said before, it's like hearing about this really cool party that everybody asks you, hey, you're going to be there, right? And no, I haven't received the invitation yet.
Right.
And the morning of, this is an interesting story, but the morning before I got the call, the message, I had this very strange dream. And in this dream, I was in my dojo and I'm cleaning up and I remove a chair and there's a cobra snake on the ground. And it lifts up, it flips its hood, bears its fangs at me. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's a cobra in the school. What am I going to do? This is crazy. And then my next thought in this dream is like, well, what am I going to do? Because the kids are coming in here in 5 minutes. And how am I going to teach class with a cobra on the floor? And then I look and the cobra's gone and I start panicking. And it's more of like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So in the dream, I call my wife. This is in the dream.
Wow.
And I say, hon, you never guess what happened. I found a cobra in the dojo. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I found a cobra snake in the dojo, but it's okay. I got it taken care of. Wait, what? Yeah, I called the veterinarian and they're going to send over a mongoose and the mongoose is going to get rid of the cobra for us. So we're good. So I'm going to go teach class.
This is your dream.
In my dream. And then I wake up, go into the kitchen, make a cup of coffee, thinking, oh, that was a really strange dream. And then I happen to check my messages and Josh Heald has contacted me and says, hey, I want to ask you a question about karate. Can I send you an email from my personal account? Sure. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe they have a technical question they want to ask me since I do Okinawan karate. My style is Shorin-ryu. And maybe they have a question about that technically or something. And in the email, Josh says, hey, I've been in the writer's room and we've kind of come up with a fun, interesting way of bringing Dennis back. Would you be interested in acting again? And I looked at that email, made sure, what did I just read? So I said, what do you got? And he said, well, this is the idea. And, they pitched the idea of Dennis still being a bad guy, still working for Silver, still doing bad stuff. And that was like, okay, cool. I would have been happy to do just a cameo, but if I get to be brought in as a bad guy, and they said, and we want to bring you back for we want you in 5 episodes. So I was very happy about that. And the whole thing was surreal and I didn't quite believe it. Thought somebody was playing a joke on me up until I get picked up by transportation to take me to the airport.
Wow.
to shoot in Atlanta. And I'm on the plane, I'm in business class. As I said, it's like, well, if somebody's playing a joke on me, they're spending a lot of money. So let's go ahead and enjoy this. Arrive in Atlanta. There's a production assistant named Landon who just makes you feel like a king. And I go up to meet Frank, the wardrobe guy. He tries out different types of clothes on me to see, what would work. And then they send me over to the dojo, which is where they rehearse all the stunt people. And that's where I'm greeted by like Tony Chung and Don Lee, the choreographer, and Ken Bearfield is the fight coordinator of the show, and Craig Hensingson is Ralph's regular stunt double, and Matt Mullins, and a bunch of other people who are, Freddie Poole was there, men and women both who are just all rehearsing their fights. And then they start running me through this fight. First person who actually greets me is Billy Zabka. And he gives me this warm hug and says, oh, man, I'm so glad you're here. I watched 52 Masters too. And yeah, Billy is a very warm person. He's one of the warmest people in the cast.
Wow.
I got a chance to see Ralph. Ralph thanked me for coming back. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? This is an honor to be back. So we rehearse the fight. They film it for me. They have it on my phone. And I go back to my hotel and they say, yeah, study the fight and we'll be good to go. And the next day, we filmed the fight. And it was a great first day. And I was glad that I got a chance to do some kicks. And, the fight was pretty good. There's a lot of like rough and tumble, brutal, gritty stuff. That's the kind of fighting I like to do, for film. I like the the stuff that looks like you're in a street fight where you're grabbing and you're elbowing and kneeing, stuff that looks like,
Yeah.
this is like real urban combat stuff.
Yeah.
So we got a chance to do that. And they were very happy. And at the end of the day, I think the fight really delivers, especially when Zach and Leo, they put their music in there and they compose things for as they go. So the name of the song that is accompanying our fight is called "A New Challenger Approaches," and that's written specifically for that scene. So I've kind of acquired it and called it the Guzman's theme. So
nice.
It's pretty cool.
So when I call you next time, that's how it's gonna ring?
Yeah, I'm gonna work on that. Yeah, I'm gonna work on that. But being as you know, sir, I've been a martial artist for 50 years. I've studied. I'm still a student, cross-trained. Started in Okinawan Shorin do karate, and if you notice in my scene, what I was really happy that I was able to do in the script, it says De Guzman takes a pose, some sort of pose, and they told me I could elaborate a little bit. So I ended up doing 4 or 5 moves from some of my kata. So I open up and I go like this, and this is the move. You have this kata, right, where you go like this, right?
Yep. Nahanchi. Yep.
Nahanchi, right? So I do this. And then we have the third one where you go like this. So I put these two together. I go like this, and then I do an outside circle kick or outside crescent kick. Which we also have in one of our katas. And then I do this move here where I'm like this, and that's my pose, right? And so to me, this is another move in one of my katas, Pasei Pasei Dai, but this looks like Cobra.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was my whole idea, is to create sort of like this is like the Cobra, this is the fangs, and it's ready to strike. So I wanted to establish myself as, yes, even though you don't know it yet, I'm Cobra Kai, but not just Cobra Kai. I'm like really close to the source.
Right.
Work for silver. This move that I'm opening up with, this is like the Cobra fanning its hood, So this is, so I'm trying to incorporate these things that are on some level reading. People will think, oh, that's a really cool move, and then karate people will think, oh yeah, that's a move from our kata, and then now you're understanding that these are moves based on what I interpret as part of animalistic.
Right.
So. And then I also tried to incorporate this as I was doing my research, going back to older episodes of other seasons of Cobra Kai and even Karate Kid 3. I really didn't have much on Dennis to go with other than my own imagination. There were things that I could pick up, little things, but I also did this, and I kind of made this De Guzman's sort of default fighting position where I smack the hand here and I go, Asa.
Yeah.
Like, and I got the asa because Silver in season 4 and 5 uses that a lot, right? He goes, asa, right? And so I was starting to use that a lot. And Hayden came up to me and said, you use asa a lot. And I said, of course I do, because I'm Silver's disciple. And he goes, yeah, I really like that. I wish Thomas would say it more, though. So that's kind of how I built the character, just from the ground up. You have to use your imagination, and I want to create some depth to it so that there is something going on, even though the audience may never see it.
Right.
But for me, as an actor, as a performer, it gives me something organic and empowering to be able to express. And even though, again, you may never see it, there's all this stuff going on underneath you. An actor's job is to actually breathe life into a character. So even if you're just standing around, you're still going to have a reaction to something. You're still going to have an opinion about something. And it may be very subtle in how it manifests, how it expresses, but that's how you do that.
Right. And for this third part, William, there's a lot of leaks, man, that people are posting. And I know we had talked about this stuff behind the scenes. Let me tell you, when I left that set in April, I had about 100 pictures. I was ready to go crazy, and I held on to those things so tight. And then I saw, some of the other people that I had worked with, and they're posting pictures, and I'm like, oh my God, and I stayed quiet. But there's a lot of things coming out now about season 3, and I feel like there's like some just crazy thoughts and storylines and things that's going to happen. I mean, do you feel that season 3 is really going to bookend the project very well? I mean, is it really going to? You think it's just going to totally, set it apart from everything else?
It's got some amazing stuff that has not leaked out yet that I think are going to blow fans away. Just
Awesome.
the death of Quan and some other things. The way that Silver was reintroduced, so on and so forth. There's plenty of surprises. Some of the leaks are not true. Some of them might be, and some of them might just be kernels of truth. But without context, you don't know.
Right.
Some leaks are purposely leaked as misdirection.
Right.
I with all due respect to the fans, I do wish that they would be a little bit more patient. And look, you'll have your chance to leak stuff, but people like to kind of feel like they're first, and like they
Right.
like to be able to brag that they were there, but it spoils it, and maybe not, maybe people like that speculation, but I'm always a little disappointed when I see the leaks. Like, really, come on,
Right. Just wait. Yeah.
So much respect to you for being trustworthy and being able to okay, we can trust you and you're not going to leak stuff. That's
right.
And those are the type of people that get hired back, and that that we end up wanting to work with again. Right. I don't get access to all the scripts. I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest with you. I have no idea what the final episode is about because I never received the script. I only get the scripts that I'm in.
Right.
So, but the script that I got, that I'm directly involved with, there's some stuff in there that is just like, I mean, it changes everything.
Yeah.
And that's all. I mean, I have no words.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's going to be mind blowing, and it has not been leaked.
Awesome.
So all that stuff that has been leaked, regarding maybe Terry Silver and things like that, there may be kernels to truth to that, but all I have to say to the audience is you still have no idea.
Right.
No idea, because there was a scene I was involved with that was not in a public stadium. It was closed set. Things happen in that episode that are, if I would say life-changing,
right,
for the characters.
Awesome.
And for the story, that changes things forever. So,
wow.
And that's the bottom line, and that's all I got to say about that.
Gotcha.
Steve Austin would say.
Well, listen, I know we've been on now for a little bit. Real fast, I want to touch base on two more things. Is how's your feelings about the? Did you get a chance to see the new Karate Kid Legends trailer? What's your feelings on the new project?
I haven't seen the trailer yet.
Okay.
I know it's out there. I just haven't seen it yet. Have you?
I did. It it's they have both Ralph and Jackie Chan. I mean, yeah. I'm a huge Jackie Chan fan. I mean, huge. So anything he's in, I'm sold. But yeah, it looked good. I thought it was well shot, and some of the stuff looked cool. They have obviously a new lead, a new gentleman. I'm not familiar with him. But it looks like they're trying to put some past and present and combine those universes. The Will Smith universe and then the old John Avildsen universe. So be interested to see what happens.
When I first heard about it, I didn't know how they were going to. They were saying it has nothing to do with Cobra Kai, but it's still connected to the Karate Kid universe. So I wasn't sure how they were going to do that, but it looks like they have figured it out, of course. Right. And I am familiar with the lead. He was in another show, a Disney show called American Born Chinese, and he's a very talented kid. He's a very good actor, likable. And I believe he's a real life martial artist. I saw some clips of some of the martial arts that was going on in there, and it looks pretty clean. Some of those kicks that you and I can tell, right? And I was just like, okay, it looks like they got some real life martial artists in this, which always makes me happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And last thing is William. We finished a great press tour for Killer X, and we were able to feature that in multiple theaters, and just wrapped up in Trinidad and Tobago. Obviously, we had a couple of viewers come in. We did very well in Trinidad and the Netherlands. The film was in the Netherlands, but I definitely know that there's some fans and some fans of yours in Trinidad and Tobago. So, I'd like to tell all of our viewers, thank you so much, William, for being part of our project and, making all that happen. I know you don't like to take credit, but, you really, really were a catalyst in this whole thing. So, I want to thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to the future, I hope that there is a future that, we're able to do some things together.
Well, you gave me a lot of opportunities as well. And of course, I've known Jim Towns for a long time. So, when it's the opportunity to work with both of you on something, it's very appealing, and I want to help, of course, I always want to help. And you guys both worked very hard on this, as did everybody. Elena Churanova, the female star of Killer X, amazing for her first feature.
Yep.
And everybody else involved. And I know that you've got Killer X 2 kind of in the works right now, and that might be very exciting. Like Killer X 2 and a Killer X 3, a lot of opportunity there for hopefully new martial art, new acting talent, new stunt talent to come on board. So if any of you out there are interested in possibly working with us, then you might want to contact Mr. Jose Torres and see, be nice to him, and just to see, keep the relationship cool and communication open. And you never know. I know that you've been talking to some of the people that you met on Cobra Kai, and
yep.
It's a possibility of working with some of them. And when the water rises, hopefully all the boats float, right?
Right.
Water rises. All boats rise when the water rises, and I don't want to. I want everybody to come up together. I want to continue to work with good people that I trust. I may not get a chance to work with everybody I want to work with, However, I do have the choice of not working with people who I don't want to work with or don't want to work with anymore,
Right.
For whatever reason, personal or otherwise. And that's very empowering when you can say, no, you know what, I don't want to work with this person anymore, and I won't. Right. So, fortunately, I always want to work with you, and I always want to work with you whenever possible. Whenever I feel like I can contribute and I'm appropriate for the project. If I'm not, I'm not going to try to shoehorn myself into it. I just want to support it. But we're all learning and we're growing, and there's also some other talent that I would like to work with. Angela Jordan is somebody that she edited the Killer X trailer, and I've seen clips of her, and she's amazing. I've never had a chance to meet her, but you know her personally, and she did a phenomenal job with editing the trailer.
Great talent. Yeah,
she's an amazing talent, right? Kicker and flipper and puncher, and all around little badass, right? So people like that, I want to work with again. So I've never worked with her again. I've never even met her, but certainly would like to work with her at some point.
Yeah. No, it's definitely been a crazy last couple of years, William, since we first met to where we are now. And I definitely think it's a bright future. Excited to see what, part 3 of season 6 has, and obviously to move forward and, our new projects together, just excited to move forward for everything. So are you all set for the holiday? Is the family all set for the holiday?
We set around December 26th. So, things are moving along as scheduled. My mom unfortunately broke her hip about 6 weeks ago. She fell in her house and she had to go into the ER. They replaced her hip. She was in the hospital for a few days, and then she went into a rehab facility for a couple of weeks. She came back home, and I've been taking care of her. And then she got like a touch of colitis and was throwing up. So she had to go into the hospital for a couple of days, but she's coming home today. And we got a nice hospital bed for her. So I will, be happy to be able to take care of my mom again. But she's on the mend. She's a very strong person. She's got a fighter spirit. And, between that and teaching and, taking care of my family and taking care of my friends, I do hope to continue working on cool projects, or at the very least supporting them.
Right.
And, once again, thank you to all the viewers and the supporters. Without all of y'all, we, what do we got? It's really, we've had so many, great people who have supported your show, your projects, the magazines, your tournament. Speaking of which, you're having another one in May, right? Another
Yep,
tournament in New
yep, yep.
Jersey? Yeah.
May 24th, 25th. Yes, sir.
Well, I hope to be able to come out to that. That would be kind of cool to be able to, see your students and all the peeps in New Jersey and the rest of the part of the East Coast again. I love visiting.
The East Coast, they love you. They love you, sir. They love you here. You're gonna have to get a resident here.
I think I need to get that picture that you posted of me as De Guzman and get that one printed, and that'll be the one that I can sign for people because that's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the money one. There's no.
We got to make sure we can see the tattoo.
Ah, yeah.
So we get one.
We'll just do two. We'll just do two.
I know there's a bigger version of that original one. This is me, like my hair was pulled back in that one there, and I was experimenting with different hairstyles for De Guzman. They went with the hair being totally down. It would have been harder to kind of put a wig like this on a stunt double, so it's easier just to have have the long hair.
Yeah. No, now I am particular, William, because this here is the money shot at the Sekai Tekai tournament.
That's the one that we can sign together, right? When we do like conventions together.
Yes.
And that one, we can both sign that one. But if you notice, all the spotlights are on you, buddy.
I don't know.
I'm here on the side supporting you, but here you are, man. And and listen, I am happy to be the one to shine light on others, as I did in 52 Masters, right? Because that's what I like to do, man. I like to be able to lift other people up and say, hey, look at this person. Look how great they are. And, I get a lot of benefit out of it when I see other people succeed. And, the benefit I get also is that, when I shine a flashlight down on somebody, right, they cannot help but look at who's shining the light, right? So I kind of wish more people would take that attitude where, hey, you don't have to be me, and, be so protective of what you got. There's enough out there for everybody. And, hey, listen, if I can help you, if you're a good person, if you've been you've shown yourself to be, good and constructive and helpful, and you don't stab me in the back, then we're good, and I'll try to help you. I have learned on the other side that there are people who are selfish, who are not necessarily looking out for my best interest. And once you do that to me, I don't forget. So, that's just how it goes, There's a line I had that got cut out at the Sekai Taikai. That's very appropriate because right before Ralph and I have that fight, right before the brawl, I say, payback's a bitch, LaRusso,
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
But, karma comes around, good or bad. And I want to do some good karma. I want to spread good in the world. And
you have.
Support good people like yourself.
You have, William, and again, I know I tell you all the time, and, I say it again for our viewers, having the opportunity to be featured on 52 Masters for me was not just game changing, it was life changing because it kind of exposed me to a lot of other people. So thank you so much. What, you mentioned 52 Masters. So you wrapped up your last episode, right? With 52 Masters. Yeah.
Yeah. We wrapped it up with Sensei Fumio Demura, and that was a very full circle moment for me. As you know, he passed away. He was a stunt double for Pat Morita in the original Karate Kid movies. He was the first person I'd ever saw as a little kid perform karate live. So that was really my first exposure to karate. So it was really full circle moment for me to be able to feature him in 52 Masters as my last episode. And what I have planned is sort of variations on that theme, but maybe something called the Beginner's Mind Project, where I get to interview people, and they don't have to be in the martial arts field. They could be actors or musicians or writers or whatever, and just being able to put myself in a beginner's mindset once again and learn something and share it with the viewers, and being able to get through my interview with somebody sort of a master's perspective of somebody who's actually done something and achieved a level of mastery. So it may come in the form of a hybrid podcast, documentary, docuseries, where some of it is like me and you talking right now, some of it's going out and spending the day with somebody. But I'd really like to go into a deep dive where, rather than just spend a couple of hours with somebody, being able to spend the whole day with them, eat with them, document all this stuff, and then bring it back into an hour and a half format. And I think I think the viewers want to see something like that. They want to see honesty. They want to see truth, humility, respect, honor. They want to see human stories. I think that's what viewers are hungry for. It always comes back down to the basics, I think. So that's really kind of in my wheelhouse, and I think that's my niche. So
Gotcha.
that's what I'm looking to do. And with, you know, I'm wide open. So we'll see where that leads.
And any before we get ready to sign off, William, any other projects you want to mention that you're working on or that you can talk about? Or
I did a project actually a year ago called Hurricana, and I worked a day on it. It's a biopic about Anna Nicole Smith, and I got a chance to work with one of my heroes whom I never met. This is another 35 years later, full circle moment, named A. Martinez. And he's been in a ton of stuff. He was on that soap opera called Santa Barbara years ago. And he was also in the Last Airbender Netflix series. He played, I think it was Master Poku. He was the waterbender, elder,
Wow.
And I met him, and he didn't disappoint. Just a great guy, great performer, great human being. And that's in post-production right now. I get to have a scene with him, and it's quite an amazing cast. The actor who plays Anna Nicole is amazing, and I'm excited about when that comes out. So I get to share screen time with the great A. Martinez, which makes me very happy. And that's really all I've got to talk about right now.
Okay.
And of course, part 3 of season 6, which I believe it drops February 13th.
Right. So we'll be patiently waiting for that, sir. We'll definitely be patient. Exactly. Well, all of our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in today. We really appreciate you spending this time. Make sure you follow and all the different handles that William has on Instagram. That's his preferred choice. He's fading off some of the other ones.
I'm on Instagram at William Christopher Ford. It's simple as that. I'm really paring down on Facebook. I'm just there barely, minimally, just so I can stay in certain groups and kind of keep track of certain events. But it will get to the point where I may have 0 friends on Facebook, and it's nothing personal. It's just that I prefer Instagram.
Right.
Unless you absolutely don't have any other social media other than Facebook, then we'll stay connected there. But I would much prefer to chat with you on Instagram. It's more fun. And of course, my YouTube channel at Sensei Ford, I believe it is. It's if you type in 52 Masters, a like and subscribe is always appreciated there on YouTube.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we had an amazing last hour with William. We want to thank him for coming out today. To all the viewers that ended up popping in today, thank you so much. And we're excited, man. We're excited for the future. We want to wish you the best holiday coming up, a speedy recovery for your mom, and
thank you so much.
And your wife and daughter have a wonderful holiday, sir. So thank you for joining us again. You're always a special friend to the martial arts experience and myself. So, William, thank you, and you have a good holiday. All right, sir?
Well, it's been my pleasure, and as always, love, respect, and gratitude to everybody.
Absolutely. Everybody have a good night. Take care, and we'll see you in the new year.